Whenever there is a mention of heritage, old traditions and customs, invariably two types of thoughts seem to emerge. One says burn the old, throw it away, while other says old is gold. Do we have to choose between one or the other of these conflicting ideologies? Or is there a golden mean between the two? Can we create a constantly evolving, ever new culture? A culture that is created by weaving together the threads from the ancient wisdom and the pragmatism and new knowledge of today? That is what we are attempting to do here in this podcast. Hello, you are listening to the podcast Something Old, Something New. I am your host, Rohini Abhyankar. Once Shiva emerged from a deep meditation and hastened to inform Parvati about a profound realization he had attained during his contemplation. Anticipating his arrival, Parvati prepared food and made other arrangements for a leisurely time along the river with Shiva. When Shiva arrived, he disclosed that he had unraveled the profound secret of the Atma Paramatma union encompassing the mind, intellect, and body. Parvati smiled inwardly, for she was already acquainted with this secret and practiced it regularly. Nevertheless, she graciously listened to Shiva's teachings on the fundamentals of yoga sadhana. Another version of the legend presents a slight modification. In this other account, Mahadev was already aware of Parvati's desire to acquire his knowledge and agreed to share it with her. Agreeing to her request, Shiva took Parvati to a cave beneath the sea to ensure the safeguarding of this valuable information. During their conversation, a fish overheard their dialogue, and in recognition of the fish's focused attention, Shiva bestowed upon it the title of Matsyendra, the king of fishes. He instructed Matsyendra to go to earth and propagate the practice of yoga. Another version of the same legend tells the story of an ugly and deformed baby born during an inauspicious time, causing distress to the parents. In response, they abandoned the baby in the sea, where it was swallowed by a fish. The baby grew within the fish's belly and overheard the conversation between Shiva and Parvati about yoga. The child practiced yoga for 12 years while inside the fish and emerged from the fish having overcome his physical ailments. He became a Siddha Purush, blessed by Shiva, and became known as Matsyendra. Ardha Matsyendrasana, a seated pose, is considered one of the primary postures of Ashtanga Yoga. By firmly grounding the seat on the floor, the lower back, the lumbar region of the spine, is stretched and lengthened. The leg is bound by the opposite hand. Detailed instructions and images can be found on the internet. This pose offers benefits such as improved digestion, alleviation of stomach ailments, enhanced appetite, and mental tranquility. Symbolically speaking, the dialogue between Shiva and Parvati represents our inner voice, and the seeker Matsyendra embarks on a journey to discover oneself. By quietening the mind and listening to this inner voice, one can embark on the path of enlightenment. Shiva, known as the first yogi or the Adi yogi, along with Matsyendranath, are considered the original proponents of Hatha Yoga. Matsyendranath and his disciple Gorakshanath spread the practice of Hatha Yoga on earth. Their supremacy as the first proponents of yoga is undisputed in both Hinduism and Buddhism. The aforementioned legends, with their slight variations, illustrate the transformative power of yoga on the physical and mental realms. Matsyendranath propagated yoga sadhana thousands of years ago. Now, fast forwarding to the present day, we witness the renowned BKS Iyengar earn recognition as a 21st century advocate of yoga sadhana and a revered guru of Hatha Yoga. Interestingly, it is said that Iyengar suffered from severe illness during his childhood, with doctors predicting a short lifespan. However, he learned yoga sadhana from his brother and dedicated 12 years to practice. He not only overcame his ailments but also gained strength and longevity. Another individual worth mentioning, whom I personally knew, is the late Sri Tatya Marathe, who shared his own story with me a while ago. While employed in the railways, Tatya was suffering from seemingly incurable stomach ailments. Mr. Dixit, one of his colleagues, also a yoga teacher, invited Tatya to attend his classes to see if it would help with the stomach issues. Dixit also informed Tatya of his own yoga journey. Dixit, having suffered from psoriasis, an incurable skin condition, was shunned by his colleagues. In response, Dixit informed his boss and requested a transfer to a secluded location in a forest where railway tracks were being laid. There, he encountered a sadhu who aided Dixit in curing his ailment through yoga. Inspired by this, Tatya began attending Dixit's classes, and gradually his stomach ailments subsided. Tatya continued practicing yoga for 12 years, meditated, and developed a subtle form of yoga called Sukshma Yoga, which he practiced, propagated, and documented in a book. Many individuals today are practitioners of this subtle yoga. The reason behind narrating these stories and anecdotes is that the ninth International Day of Yoga is here, which will be observed on June 21st. The Modi government proposed the recognition of this International Day to the United Nations, and it was accepted with an overwhelming response. June 21st, being the summer solstice and the longest day of the year, is a fitting choice for Yoga Day. As the sun appears stationary during this time, people strive to find inner stability through yoga. Yoga encompasses the 8 limbs of Ashtanga, including yamas, abstinences, niyamas, observances, asana, postures, pranayama, breathing exercises, pratyahar, sense withdrawal, dharana, concentration, dhyana, meditation, and samadhi, absorption. Extensive information on these 8 limbs and other yoga practices can be found online. Since we are on the topic, I would like to enumerate the different yama and niyamas and provide the meaning of terms that are not obvious. The yamas are ahimsa, non-violence, that is, non-harming other living beings; satya, truthfulness, non-falsehood; asteya, non-stealing; brahmacharya, chastity; aparigraha, non-variance, non-possessiveness, non-hoarding. The niyamas are shaucha, purity, cleanliness of mind, speech, and body; santosh, contentment, acceptance of others, acceptance of one's circumstances as they are in order to get past or change them; optimism for self; tapas, persistence, perseverance, austerity; Swadhyaya, study of Vedas, study of self, self reflection, etc. Ishvara Pranidhana, contemplation of the Ishvara, contemplating upon the Brahma being the Supreme Being. It is crucial to progress gradually, moving from easy to challenging postures when practicing yoga. While reflecting on these narratives, one can observe the recurring theme of Shiva imparting knowledge about yoga to Parvati, who already possessed that knowledge. Parvati's insistence on receiving the information reflects the pet argument of dominance of Maya over Brahma and vice versa. Matsyendranath and Gorakshanath, his disciple, regarded as the lords of yoga, underline the accessibility of yoga regardless of caste or social status. Additionally, these stories underscore the transformative power of yoga in overcoming physical ailments. However, consistency and dedication are essential, as exemplified by the practice of yoga for 12 years. To foster consistency, a valuable tip is to avoid skipping any activity for 2 consecutive days, remembering to be kind to yourself. Lastly, the significance of yoga sadhana, well known to most of us, is worth mentioning again. This was also highlighted by Prime Minister Modi during his speech at the United Nations in 2014. Yoga is a gift to the world from the ancient Indian tradition spanning 5,000 years. It unifies and harmonizes the physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual aspects of human existence. Yoga sadhana is a holistic approach to health and promotes balance between individuals and nature. It's not merely a form of exercise, but a means to connect with oneself, others, and the world around us. On this World Yoga Day, let's express our hope that those who practice yoga may strengthen their sadhana, those who paused may regain momentum, and those who have yet to start may find inspiration. In this episode, we have explored the fascinating blend of ancient and contemporary aspects of yoga. I am fully aware that any talk about yoga is incomplete without the mention of the great sage Patanjali, the creator of Yoga Sutras. However, it's a vast subject in itself and we will defer it to another day. I will stop here for today and would love to hear your thoughts on this topic as well as any other new thoughts and ideas you would like to discuss. Till we meet again in the next episode, take care and namaste.